Let's begin with a brief meditation. Om Satchidananda. 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 We may now gradually open our eyes. Namaste and welcome to our sixth session. This is slightly different from the previous ones. We are devoting it to your questions, comments, feedback I have received in the last few days. Not too many, but whatever, four of them, and generally take a review of the situation, what we are going through. As you might have noticed, this is quite a packed course for about 17, 18 weeks until a week before the Christmas. And from next year, I just present my plan so that you have an idea what is the current course like. So, like from January next year, I plan to offer a 4-month course. I will call it Beginner's Meditation, Patanjali Meditation 101, just to give a brief name. So that is for a beginner who has no idea to learn basics of meditation. And at the end of the course, the person is confident that he or she can do it regularly at home and is successful in achieving what I call that blind spot when the mind is blank and is still void of thoughts. And thereby, theoretically speaking, the person has the understanding that, of course, I am body and mind, the visible body, and my mind helps me doing all kinds of thinking and intellectual functioning. But when you are deep in meditation, you are left with some sort of awareness. You are still existing, though your body and mind are inactive. So that is kind of, though you are learning beginner's meditation, but it ends up with an important element of spirituality, that you are body, mind, and soul, or body, mind, and spirit. There is something beyond your mind, deep inside, that is just ultimate seat of my consciousness. So that is the objective and nature of Patanjali Meditation 101. Then I want to, as you know probably, I follow strictly what is from Patanjali's classic book in Sanskrit called Yog Darshan or Yog Sutra. So once somebody has gone through this, the person may be interested in knowing the original, what Patanjali is saying in his book, classic book, which is just 195 short lines, which can come in a couple of pages. But even after so many thousand years, we people are interested in knowing what he wrote. So I teach. The book has 4 chapters, but not all of them, 195 statements. About, I will say 60 to 70% of them, I will plan it in Patanjali Meditation 102, which is devoted to Yoga Sutras. So this, what one has learned in 101, gets further refined and formalized, and he has or she has more, how more to progress, what else to expect in this art and science of meditation. Then, continuing in the spring of 2017, I will say this is Patanjali Meditation 201, where all the, even Patanjali's philosophy of yoga is a derivative of Vedic philosophy. So, how Ved mantras deal with this kind of knowledge, what is covered by Patanjali Yoga, and how that can further improve one's meditation technique. So, this is the outline of 3 courses I have in mind from January 2016. Now, as you will see, the current course, I call it 101C. C is standing for comprehensive, condensed, concise, concentrated, whatever you like it, which has a mix of all this. So this is an opportunity because this is, I noticed that people who are registering were with a particular cultural background, so they can, while I am doing this, I can talk openly about our spirit, soul, and that infinite soul, what Patanjali has called Ishwar, and I can borrow some Ved mantras also. So this particular course that is current is a mix of all this. And of course, there is a percentage wise slightly here and there. It's more emphasis on this. I am trying my best not to compromise on this so that at the end of this course in December, you have more or less understanding of beginner's meditation. Plus, though we are going slightly on fast track, you have an understanding of what Patanjali is talking in Yoga Sutras, and we also encounter some Ved mantras, devote a couple of slides on that thing. So this is a current course is a mix of all this, which is quite tightly packed, and you might have noticed it. And I have an objective which I would like to, I can speak out now. So one who has gone through the current course, if he or she is much interested, because this is pure Patanjali's spiritual science, Vedic spiritual science. And the beauty is, it is the way I see it, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, they not only describe Vedic spiritual science, they also validate it. And that's what, as you go through the process of meditation and Patanjali yoga practices, you validate. As I made a remark here, at the end of 101, you are more or less convinced that you are just not body and mind, but body, mind, and soul. So that is kind of Vedic spiritual science. You get an understanding as well as you get it validated, you are convinced, so that kinds of deepens your understanding. And once all that is there, you may, and more or less, besides gaining understanding of this spiritual science, it benefits you in day to day life. That is very important. And that is so relevant that I will say almost every human being. After all, we all function with a human mind. We are concerned with our health and upkeep of these two fine instruments of human body and human mind. And that's what Patanjali meditation does at a lower level. Of course, there is no limit. At a higher level, you have much better insights and even spiritual understanding, so on and so forth. But this is something which is relevant to every human being, I will say. So if somebody here who is doing this kind of course thinks that he wants to participate or she wants to participate in this mechanism and wants to teach Patanjali meditation. So that was an objective in my mind. Having done this current course 101C, if you do this also 101 in the spring of next year, then you see exactly how we transmit the basics of Patanjali meditation to a man on the street. Then you may consider becoming a teacher of beginners meditation from later part of 2016. So that was also an objective in my mind, that I am offering this condensed course in this current semester. Let's look at the general format of the sessions, which you have noticed by now. We started with what we call informal meditation and have an element, a slide or so on a Ved mantra. So informal meditation, I would like to, the reason I call it informal, it is very natural. Like a mother and child relationship. Just look at a situation, a child returns from school, gets off from the school bus, chatting with some of his friends. Then he is at the front of his home and he says bye-bye to all his friends. Then he enters into his home, throws away his bags and all those things and removes his shoes, rushes inside and just calls his mother, mom, something like that, one word, and just hugs his mother. This is, I call, informal meditation, where, of course, there is a very deep bonding and love relationship between those two people, mother and child. That there is nothing, not too many steps are involved, they just get to each other and they are very close to each other. And in those few moments, there is no third thing in their mind. Child is not thinking anything else, mother is also not thinking in anything else. Both are lost into each other. That is what is deep meditation. That's why there is so much emphasis in this course, blank mind. If your mind is not blank, if you have some thoughts, then you are connected to those things, connected to those thoughts. Then you are not connected to, like this child, if you are talking to somebody on his mobile phone and is still hugging his mother, then that is not a proper thing, isn't it? Mother will say, you are not with me, you are with somebody else. So if your mind is not absolutely blank and void, then you are with your mind because you are able to observe what is happening in your mind. So that is what is chitta. Chitta, your mind is keen, is showing you something and you are observing it. Then you are not disconnected from your chitta and you are not connected to the other entity, the cosmic mother. So this is, I call it informal meditation. Then we discuss some of the statements from Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and then sometimes we try to pick up some modern life metaphors, some real life examples, which may help our understanding of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And then towards the end, we sit again for meditation, what we call Patanjali meditation, following his Ashtanga Yoga, which we have yet to study in our second chapter, but we are approaching there. What I call as formal meditation, because this is something prescription from Patanjali. If somebody doesn't have that deep bonding like a child has with his mother, then how to progress? Still, it is very, Patanjali is saying, still it is very, very beneficial to be in meditation. So, like I made a remark in the previous slide, if you are not interested in spiritual elements, you don't care whether I am body or mind, or only body or body, mind, and soul. I just want to live in a healthy and with a proper element of wellness. I want to have comprehensive health and live long and enjoy my life better. Then also you are interested in good upkeep and functioning of your instruments of body and mind. And that is what also Patanjali meditation helps you in that. So Patanjali meditation is a formal meditation. And if I were to give you an example, let's look at, suppose I were to meet a head of state. Like in certain countries, we have president. Somewhere there is an emperor or queen or whoever it is, whatever is the title, there is a head of state everywhere. But let's look at Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga here, and how does a meeting with a head of state correlates with these steps. So of course, say I get an invitation from White House to meet President of the United States, which is quite an honor, but that will not come to everybody. That is coming to me because I have achieved something. So in the nomenclature of Patanjali Yoga, the two elements of Ashtanga Yoga, Yam and Niyam, are related to that. That you have used your instruments of body and mind in positive manner in such a way that you are slightly above the masses. You are different from them. And that is what helps you to be singled out, and you get an invitation from the president of the country. So this is related to that. And once you get the invitation in your hand, you have an appointment on a certain date at certain time, and that you have made all good preparation. Finally, you are, say you have to drive 100 miles, you take a seat on your car, and that is now practice part. That is the journey now to be with that head of state. So that is corresponding to asana, that you are on the driver's seat. You have taken the position. And now that specific journey is coming, which will end up with the meeting with that. That meeting is so important for you, a lifetime event, and you are now sitting on the driver's seat and about to start the journey. But before you start, you have a quick look at your dashboard if all the things in the instruments are fine. The fuel, the oil, the air, and the water, everything is okay, and the car is functioning very well, at least for that journey. And that quick look and assurance is commensurate to our pranayama, our deep breathing. Now, pratyahar is like you fix your destination on the GPS so that you let your car know that I won't drive in any other route except the one that is being shown to me, guided by my GPS. That corresponds to pratyahar. When I instruct my mind, nowhere else, I want to go into my cave. And that is the instruction I give to my mind. Oh. And then we start the engine, we start the car, and we are focused on the route that is being shown by the GPS. That is like dharana. I focus my mind at the third eye, just remain there. And once the journey ends, that is the part of the journey. If you stay always in the car, you will never meet the person whom you wanted to meet. The car, the vehicle is an important instrument, but you should not be connected to it forever. And that is what is related to our mind also. Our mind helps all this learning Patanjali Yoga Sutra and practice element, etc. But finally, when I want to be in meditation, I want to disconnect from my mind. So that is at the end of the journey, I reach White House, I park my car somewhere, I report at the reception, then I am disconnected from my vehicle, I am in dhyan, and somebody will usher me to a room, adjoining room to the president's office, and that moment I am in dhyan. Now I have no other thought except that now somebody will open the door and I will be meeting that person for whom I have done all this labor. And once I am united with that person, I am in samadhi. So being disconnected from the external world, body and mind, is dhyan. And then being connected with that beloved entity, I am in samadhi. So this is just to go back to the previous slide. So this is the overall format of our sessions we have been following. So you have an understanding what we are doing, why we are doing, and what is the purpose of all this. Of course, towards the end of the course, it will be very nice if for you meditation almost becomes like informal meditation, isn't it? So we one day hope that what we call informal meditation and what we call formal meditation merge together. Just imagine your mother or your father is the head of state, isn't it? Then it is very easy for you to meet that person who is the final authority over the nation. Indeed, the entity whom we want to meet is the Ishwar, the infinite soul, who is mother, father, friend, teacher, everything, plus is also the ruler of the whole, the Raja Jagato Bahuva. He is the Raja of the entire universe. So this is kind of a flavor of the sessions. Now let's move on. So I have taken a couple of slides to make an overall review what this course is like, how we are going through and all. I have received 4 responses, I will say. Some of them have questions, comments, feedback, whatever you call it. So this is number 1. The person, the gentleman is saying, Thank you for organizing these sessions and passing highly valuable messages from Vedas and showing the meditation techniques. Okay, just a kind of compliment. Then I see that there is definitely a connection between the body and the mind, but most of the modern medical or social literature doesn't cover this relationship at all. Wondering if you would be able to describe the following: what is given in the Vedic scriptures about mind body relationship, how the mind and body are connected, how meditation helps keep the mind and body healthy and energetic. Very good question. Where the first observation is the connection between body and mind is not properly covered in the modern medical science and modern education system. But I think they are now beginning to appreciate it. Now, there is one gentleman, Dr. Herbert Benson from Harvard Medical School. Some years ago, I saw a slide or video, and he is now very active in mind body relationship and from modern medical scientific point of view. So, of course, the first time I saw that video, and I asked myself that for me, from my background, the mind body connection is so obvious. Of course, it should be, and it is taking a Harvard professor as if it is a new discovery. He is so excited with something as if it was not known other in the previously. But to me, it sounds very obvious that we are, of course, body, mind, and soul. Body and mind are my instruments and they are connected. Even if I lift a glass of water through my hand, of course, I have directed my mind, and my mind is, doing all the mechanical things, activating at a proper muscle, and then certain bone joints are activated. Some force is applied by muscle, and some moment is applied. So I find all this is very complicated operations, but we do it in a natural sense because the instruments are so fantastic and they are linked together. And of course, we know it. What happens to my mind shows up in, like a mother who look at the face of a child and say what is going on in his mind, isn't it? From facial expression. And not only that, if you are slightly depressed, that you are mentally depressed, but it shows up, it has a very poor effect on your health. You catch up all kinds of cold, cough, and you are prone to many kind of diseases if you are weak in your mind. If you are motivated with your mind, then even your physical strength and physical health is better. So, of course, what happens to the body has an effect on mind, and what happens to your mind has an effect on body. That is now very well appreciated. And but in our Vedic literature, I think this was very much this was a part of life. Everybody knew it probably. So this is a slide I have shown it to you, though not showing that connectivity between body and mind, but I usually make the remark, this is me, these are my instrument, body and mind. They are packaged with me in the sense as I came in the world, I found myself with body and mind. And they have been united with me. And not only that, I have been left alone. There are a series of complex background forces working non-stop just to make sure that my instruments are always functional. Otherwise, they will just collapse. So there is a total definition of me is body, mind, and soul. And within my system, there is a powerful powerhouse where all kinds of background forces are working in my brain, in my heart, in my digestive system, in my respiratory system. All these are functioning without my being aware of them. Even when I am in deep sleep, they are functioning. Such a wonderful system. And of course, its schematic shows a kind of connectivity. I don't know if I made this remark, but generally I would have liked to say in my session one that this connectivity is in series. It is not like in electrical connections. We say, is it serial connection or in parallel connection? This is to be noted. It is a in series. Series means if I want to walk with my body firm, but my mind has to activate my feet. If I want to lift something, even if I want to speak out, first my thoughts have to take place, come in a comprehensive manner, coherent manner, form a sentence, and then my speech organ simply speaks out. So I am speaking from my body vocal cord, but that is being being I will say inspired by my mind. So this is a serial connectivity, that my connection to my body is through my mind. So, and what happens to my body is known to me via my mind. So that's how incoming and outgoing connections go at a very fast rate. I devote two more slides on this subject, not to complicate the matter, but just to show how fantastic system we all are born with and we own it. Such a fantastic system. I am looking at a knowledge acquisition system phase of our mind, what is called generally perception, through our five channels, five senses, five organs for knowledge. But I have cooked up an analogy with a home video system. So let's look at the lower part of the slide, how our home video system worked when we used to have a what is called VCR, video cassette recorder. So if you look at that kind of a situation, you are an observer, a conscious being. You are watching a TV monitor, a screen. This is like our chitta, so to say. So there is a one-to-one correspondence. This is my mind screen, chitta, and this is the TV screen. And this is displaying what is actually happening in a television studio, where there is a video signal and audio signals. They have been electronically sent out, and on your rooftop you have an antenna that receives these signals. It passes on to your VCR. So VCR is able to store the signal for your future reference, and also it transmits for live play on to your TV system, and you are observing it. So this is a system we are familiar with, where there are two kinds of information embedded together, audio and video, received by an antenna, processed and stored by a memory storage device, and displayed the live picture on a TV screen. And you are a conscious being, you are an observer who makes some sense out of that. So let's look at now our system, which we have the mind, functioning in the incoming mode, in knowledge acquisition mode. We have five channels: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And this is what Kapil called in Sankhya, he calls it manas. I'm translating it as a mind. It becomes slightly confusing because I use the word mind for the whole, all these three units together. And I am translating this manas also as mind. But I hope you will understand with the context. When I use the word mind, it may be the aggregate is mind, or it may be one of the unit is mind, which is what is sandwiched between the total mind and the body. So this is the interface, I will say, between the body organs and the whole mind system. And then this passes on to my memory device, what Kapil has called ahankar. I have devoted quite some time on it. That is because that is wrongly translated by a large fraction of scholars as ego. That is not correct. So this is my memory storage device. And then ahankar further transmits to my chitta. That is what I am translating as mind screen. And then I simply observe it. I am the conscious being. I am observing it. Otherwise, that's how I am different from so many things in the world. Let's look at a camera. a sophisticated camera that is also looking at some picture, some object, and is able to see the object. But a camera merely sees it, but doesn't do exactly what as a human being do. My eyes are also like a convex lens, like a lens in a camera. The picture is falling on retina. Being a convex lens, it is inverted image, but then optic nerve sends it. Finally, the optic nerves will send through one of these arrow, which is coming from the side. It will be picked up by this, and finally, when I see it, I have a feeling, oh, he is my friend. I have go through an experience. I feel happy. I feel joy, and then I walk closer to him and shake hand. Camera doesn't do all that. Camera is an unconscious thing, and that's how we are different from a camera. That's how there is so much emphasis on we are not just body and mind, which are all made of matter, though they are very, very sophisticated. We are beyond that. What a soul, a singularity of consciousness this is. So this is, of course, not a complete system, just the incoming mode, even though then this is very, very sophisticated than the home video system because it has 5 channels. We can even have an experience of a taste, you know, and smell and touch, texture, and all that. It's very sophisticated and it goes so fast. Like at this moment, you are seeing and hearing me, it's happening simultaneously. It is not that you miss out some words when you are seeing me, isn't it? You look at me as well as you hear me. So you are not looking out, you are not missing out my facial expressions. You are also not missing out any word I am saying because this data is being picked up by this and it is so fast in rapid succession, it all gives an appearance it is happening simultaneously. It is a gigantic speed. I won't be surprised even if it is the speeds involved here are more than speed of light. And then whatever data this has picked up from these 5 channels, one at a time. That's what Gautam says in Nyaya, Yugapat Jnana Manaso Lingam. This is Manas. Why? This is definitely there because the 5 channels don't end up together in the soul. Soul gets one information at a time. So Yugpat Jnana na bhavati. Simultaneously, knowledge is not acquired. That is why there is something like Manas. So he picks up 1 channel at a time and sends it here fast. Then 2nd channel, 3rd channel, so fast. And finally it comes here on my screen and I say, yes, I got the taste of this tea I am drinking. And then you are able to compare it with the tea you had last previous day, isn't it? How do you? Because that is stored here, the previous day's taste of the tea. And that also is brought to you from the memory, like you is tea data, and then you compare this tea. Just now you are drinking a cup of tea. How this taste is different from the taste you had previous morning, isn't it? All this is so natural system. We don't even bother to analyze them. But you look at this system, it is so fantastic. You should feel that we all are the owner of such a fantastic miniature system and it's so fast, swift, high speed. As I have said, it's all in our consciousness is like a point-like singularity. A point in geometry has no length, no width. It is just like a tiny cloud. And then this mind, what I am talking, not to be confused with our brain, it is a tiny shell surrounding my soul. It is smaller than nanoscale. I have no idea what will be the dimension, pico or 10 to the power minus 12 meters or even smaller than that. That is the small shell I am talking about, which is somewhere in our head region. And that is the fantastic system we are talking about. Let's look at it total functioning two-way. In the previous slide, it was just one way, the knowledge acquisition, but we know it. Our mind is doing much more than that. So in the knowledge acquisition mode, it is going this way. And then I think and decide, and that's where this fantastic thing has another name called buddhi, intellect. That helps me take a decision that I should do this and that. And once I take a decision, my decision is relayed back here, and then this activates my mind. And now this has another link with five motor organs: the hands, the feet, the speech, and two organs for excretion. This activates those organs, and then I am in now action mode, isn't it? That's how we walk, speak, and manipulate things here and there. All kinds of multitasking we do because of this simple, fantastic instrument. And that's what is so small, so fast, and Patanjali is teaching us how to control it. It's so difficult if something is very, very fast. Imagine speed of light, and imagine something is so tiny, smaller than a molecule, and then you want to control it. It's very, very difficult task. That's what Patanjali is teaching us. So finally, I have said here, like I was trying to say, I am different from a camera because I am a conscious being. Finally, in this language of Kapil, Sankhya, Jnata, Bhokta, and Karta, I am the knower. This is all the instruments which make it possible for me to know. Like this eyeglasses, without this I cannot see a distance. This is instrument, without this I cannot see a person at a long distance and conclude, is he Mr. X or Y? But these eyeglasses are not the observer. They are the instrument which helps me see something clearly. Same way, body and mind are my instruments. They are not the observer. I am the observer. I am the knower. And I am that enjoyer, the bhokta. Because a perception, what I am seeing becomes an experience for me. If I see my daughter, my son, my friend, I have a feeling, isn't it? A camera will not have any feeling. I have a feeling. That feeling is bhokta. And then I act upon the external world. Of course, we always want to get away from pain and improve our level of happiness. That's what we do. So I act upon, and then I become a doer. I activate my motor organs. I make an effort to improve the quality of my life. So that's what all this is happening in our inner domains of mind. And I am the owner, the presiding entity of this mind. We should be very proud of this. We are very wealthy people, every one of us. And we must be able to live a good quality of life. And if we are not able to do, don't blame your body or mind. You don't know how to use them. You don't know how to have exercise your authority over your instrument. If you haven't learned driving properly, you don't have the driver's license, and you blame the car or the traffic or this, that is not the appropriate thing. So that's what we are learning from Patanjali. Sorry, it became a long answer to the first feedback 104. I hope I have covered most of what he has said. Connectivity, though at a philosophical level, but I think we are all familiar with it. Body and mind are interlinked. It is, they are very closely interlinked. That cannot be overemphasized. How meditation helps keep the mind and body healthy and energetic. I think now that we are in the sixth session, 5 weeks down the line, if I were to ask you, some people are here in front of me, how many of you feel that you are in your day-to-day life with this practice, daily practice? I am emphasizing daily practice of meditation. How many of you think your overall daily life has become more energetic? Please raise your hand, not just to make me happy, if you really feel like that. Anybody? Yes, some individuals are raising their hands. What is happening is, as you are practicing meditation, one thing I have emphasized, deep breathing. And how important that was, the metabolism of digestion of food. Of course, we all eat food, but are we converting that into energy or not? That depends on, are you supplying energy? Are you supplying oxygen properly or not? And as you are learning meditation, as a byproduct, many small things are happening. That's why I am encouraging all of you to be watchful of your 24 hours. Be watchful how changes are taking place within you. One thing is very likely happening by now is your breathing is becoming deeper. What was shallow breathing when you started this course might have become slightly deeper. And if it has become deeper, you are inducting more oxygen, you are supplying more oxygen to your system, and that is oxidizing the food you are eating properly, that builds up energy. So throughout the day, you will feel energetic. And if it's not happening, believe me, it will happen in next few weeks. And I will not be wrong here to ask, do some of you feel that you are eating slightly less now? Anybody? Yes, some people are raising their hands again. Because now the food that you are eating is getting properly oxidized and is giving energy. So your system is saying, we don't have to eat as much as we used to eat, because previously a lot of food you were eating but was not giving out energy because there was not oxygen to burn. Now you are burning the food in an efficient manner, so less quantity of food is giving you more energy. That's the truth of the life, and that is what will be happening, energetic and healthy. If your breathing is well, I think you will have better immune system. Everything will be fantastic. I tell you, in my life, there was a phase when every year I will catch up cold and cough and all that seasonal problem. Two times, three times a year. And at least once it will make me feverish. I have to be bedridden. I have a fever once a year at least. For the last so many years, never has happened. Now sometimes I have a feeling I am catching cold, but previously it would be with me for 7 days, 8 days, 6 days. Now not even half a day. It just comes out. And we will discuss it later. Your mind, and of course, mind healthy, I am sure almost everybody will raise his hand. Are you feeling now more relaxed and calm mind? Please raise your hand. Those who genuinely feel like that. You are more relaxed and calm mind. And anybody who feels it is easier to go to sleep, please raise your hand. Anybody who is feeling, all the time I am asking for my people who are in the distant mode, number of people are raising their hands. Now I am asking anybody who feels that sleep is becoming deeper. Anybody feeling sleep? Yes. And anybody now you feel that you are not sleeping as long as you used to sleep. Now you sleep maybe half an hour less, 1 hour less. Anybody feeling like that? Yes, some people are. Now you tell me your investment of 15, 20, 30 minutes of investment in daily meditation, does it come back or not? It comes back. That's what I told you in the day one. Your sleep hours will reduce. Your energy level on throughout the day will make your task efficient. What would take 2 hours, now you can do in 1.5 hours. So your accounting will be totally changed. You will be saving much more than what you are investing on meditation. Plus, there is no account for your quality of life will improve, isn't it? You will feel better throughout the day. Your relationship, if you are getting angry at this level of threshold, now even this level of threshold, you will not be provoked. Because you are calm mind, isn't it? You don't react by raising your voice. You are more mature now. You can handle your children, your spouse, your colleagues much better. You don't get your mind disturbed and don't disturb others. All this kind of inner energy will come to you as you are practicing meditation. Let's move on. I think I should go fast now because it's 10:34 now. 11 minutes. By now I should be sitting for meditation. Oh my God. Let's go fast. This is feedback 2. I have studied Patanjali Yoga Sutras for over a year now with CIS. That is our parent organization, Center for Inner Sciences. And much of the content we have covered in the first 5 sessions of this course is familiar to me. This gentleman is in England and he has done my Patanjali meditation 101 and 102 and is now, as I said, he is teacher of Patanjali meditation 101. As I was trying to say, what is my objective of giving this, offering this condensed course? So he says, much of the 5 sessions we have is familiar to me and he's teaching in England Patanjali meditation. I have enjoyed going over the material again and deepening my understanding of the topics discussed. I believe I have been able to understand the concepts and I have been practicing daily meditation for some time now, which I have found extremely helpful in making the journey towards the soul. The use of Sanskrit and Dr. Chanda's ability to say and interpret the Sanskrit text adds richness to the course. The very sound of the Sanskrit words helps in making the journey towards the soul. Some of the detail around the different stages of intuitive cognition and enunciation too are a little complex to understand fully, and perhaps I need to progress further in my meditation and learning before I can say I can clearly understand the detail here. Let me refer to a previous slide what the gentleman is trying to say about intuitive cognition in our discussion of 1.17. When we jump from a basic practitioner, we get a success in yoga, then something appears on my chitta, on my mind screen, which I called as intuitive cognition. Look at that as a, suppose I was talking about the formal meditation and I am united with the head of the state. I am with the president of the country in the White House. Now, what are the possible interactions? At a very basic level, he may give me a piece of paper, a certificate, a gift, a wise counsel, and advice, isn't it? They all come under this category, intuitive. But ultimately will be if I can hug him, there's nothing is happening. We are just lost into each other. That will be here. Is that metaphor helping you understand that what Patanjali is saying? So even in our practice of meditation, when I go deep, that Ishwar on my clean slate, he gives me something. That is in the nature of intuitive cognition. But when he doesn't give me something, I am just lost into him and he is in me. That will be this asampadyat nebit samay. Let's come back to that. I find Dr. Chandra to be an excellent teacher. His explanations and method of delivering the content and especially the key concepts are very clear and concise, and the pace of the course allows sufficient time for me to think about and understand the concepts as they are discussed. The real life examples he uses to give meaning to some of the concepts are very useful. Let's look at one more. Can you please talk about japa and mala? It's a necklace with beads, and some people have an idea that you should do the recitation of a mantra for a certain number of times and you count with those beads. So the question here is, should we do it? What mantra? How many times? So here I have to, in the last week we did discuss this topic in Ishwar Pranidhan, particularly 1.28, Tad japas tadarth bhavanam. Patanjali is saying that the sound is Om. This should be recited, recitation of the sound with its meaning of Ishwar contemplated is Ishwar Pranidhan. So Patanjali is saying the recitation, though it begins with a verbal level, it should go at the deep meaning level, and further his word he is using is very unusual. He is not saying earth, he is saying earth bhavanam, essence of the meaning, deep essence of the meaning. I gave you two examples last Saturday, if I remember. I was giving an example of a small baby, 6 months baby, who doesn't know the word mother, and who doesn't know the dictionary meaning of the word mother. But once he is united with the mother, he knows exactly what mother is. He knows it much better than any of us know it, isn't it? For scientists say nowadays, a small baby sleeping, if somebody touches that baby, the baby is able to know whether this is my mother touching or somebody else is touching. Even in sleep, the child knows whether this is my mother's touch or somebody else's touch. That much of deep understanding, deep, you get immersed into that. That is earth bhavana. And when you are deeply immersed into that, in your hand there will be no necklace. You will not be counting. Your orally there will be no excitation. You are doing nothing with your body, absolutely nothing with your mind. That is the jap he is talking about. Don't misunderstand it with those kind of jap which we are verbally saying. So that's the answer to this question. So what mantra? Like nobody can tell child what you said. Like the baby doesn't know. He just says, "Ooh, ah," but the mother knows. The child is calling me. Should be Om. Or we start in the session with Om, Sachidanand, whatever it is. Of course, Patanjali is saying at the Yoga level, as I've said, there are three levels: Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. We are going into other two regimes also, but at the Yoga level, which is for very superior minds, the mantra is Om. That is the mantra. How many times? Usually I have said, don't count it unless make it a vehicle, it takes you to the meditative mode. Oh my God, it's 10:45 right now, 10:42. This is the fourth feedback. As for the content itself, the structure and theory is clear to me thus far. I can't see the practice following the theory, so then the theory remains as an island. Probably that's why it was important for me to spell out what is general format of my session so that people can link up. I can see that Patanjali's approach is Yoga, Kriya Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, but you will remember right from the day one, I have given you the elements of Ashtanga Yoga, and we are following Ashtanga Yoga in practice. What I call these red lines are our 5 steps borrowed from Ashtanga Yoga. But I have tried to, though we are following Patanjali in the order of Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, theoretical discussion is like that, but practice is following Ashtanga Yoga, which I have tried to explain from the beginning. So I have tried to fill up the gaps, but I can understand that the gentleman has some, is not able to see that clearly. But and also you will appreciate right in the beginning of our Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we defined yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So that is our lighthouse. I want to be in yoga when my mind skin is void of any fluctuation, anything. So that is the theory of yoga, and that is what we are trying to reach out through the 5 steps of Ashtanga. Okay, we are here 10:43. I am not doing justice to this practice, Patanjali's meditation practice. Please allow me 5 minutes extra, so at least we have some. So we have 6 minutes of meditation now. But and informally, I have received this feedback that what is covered in Patanjali Meditation 101 is getting slightly is taking its toll. So no problem. At home, you devote the time you should be devoting it 12-15 minutes at least. Oh, I did not read out this gentleman fully. Oh, his second part. My personal dhyan sessions have been good. I have allowed myself to go in what I thought was sleep, but turns out it is deep meditation. At t equal to 25 or 30 minutes, I get a feeling my body exterior is not there. There is an uneasy feeling of boundarylessness. In full consciousness, I know my skin on hand safe. And then there is air. That boundary is conspicuously lost. I feel abnormally eerie about it. Maybe it is the dark room I sit in. So I think the gentleman is enjoying good length of meditation, 25, 30 minutes. And indeed, it should be like this. The body posture asana is a means and not the end. And if it is well done, that's what we'll see in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. He will make a statement, Anant Samapatibhyam. What he means to say is, deep in meditation, I should not be able to feel the boundary of my body as if I am merged in Anant, endless sky, as if the boundary, that's what the gentleman is using the word boundarylessness. So I think he is doing good quality meditation for 25, 30 minutes. So you should at home devote the time that is reasonable. 15 minutes, 12, I will say is 12 to 15 minutes is minimum. It depends on an individual. If you just don't even hit the blank spot, then try to increase the time duration. If you hit the blank spot right immediately, then it is for you the time availability. And I think more or less I have given you all the tips related to that. Let's quickly, a short formal meditation. We are in the body posture. Let me go to my webinar room now. Okay. So we shake away our stiffness from shoulders and neck region. That was our step one, body posture. Now we move to step two, 3 cycles of deep breathing with 4 phases. Deep breathe out, hold the breath out, breathe in, hold the breath within, breathe out, hold it out, breathe in, hold it within, breathe out, hold it out, breathe in, hold it within. We hand over our breathing mechanism for the body to do it in its automated manner. We disconnect from it. Let's recite that sound 5 times together. Om. We may now gradually open our eyes. Sorry for the exceeding the time. Thank you all. See you next week.